America wants to know, what was the emergency, Azan? Buenas tardes a todos. I'm Saraya Rhea, and thank you for joining me on my review of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 4, Episode 10. Whew. I'm trying to come up to you, Chantel, your level of Spanish. Not your accent, but your level of Spanish. Chantel can hold herself. Yes. So I'm trying to practica, you know? Anyway, okay, there's so much to talk about, but I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible because I actually have an appointment soon, that I gotta get to. But there's so much to talk about, so much drama, but at the same time, I'm just like, okay, real life, staged, crazy, entertainment, real stuff, I don't know. Let me start with this. Do not attempt this at home, kids. Please do not model your life after any one of these couples. I mean, just the way in which they go about things and do things, whatever. This ain't the way, y'all. The sad thing, though, is we all know, those of us who are viewers who know that this is not the way, you know. But like we know people, though, right? That whose life looks like theirs. Maybe not as dramatic as Nicole's, but who knows? But you know, it's just it's, guys, oh my gosh, like I think after I watched this episode, I was reeling, and then I realized, I'm like, wait, is my blood pressure going up? This is not good. I mean, hopefully the season's coming to an end soon, because it's getting a bit much. But I guess I'm trying to, like, okay, what can I separate as being like, okay, this producer enforced or encouraged versus what I really think these people are actually doing with their lives, and they would have been doing this with or without the cameras there, you know, like, oh my gosh. Anyway, all right, so let's start with Nicole and Azan. So they're still apart. Nicole, by the way, Nicole has been missing from 90 Day Fiancé. Nicole and Azan have been missing from 90 Day Fiancé for the past 2 episodes, okay? So they finally get a little camera time, you know, but I mean, there's really not much to say about them, right? Because they're not together physically, you know, and it's just, I'm coming, we're gonna get married. I mean, how many times can you, like, you know, show that story? And the fact is that, or how many times can you restate those facts? You know, and so long as Azan is actually behaving himself or keeping himself from you know, sending random voice message pranks to women on the internet, and, you know, or to women, and then having it somehow end up recorded on the internet, you know. So long as he's behaving well, then there's really nothing to report about this couple. Okay, so what happens is Nicole is talking to Azan on the phone. This apparently is the first time that Azan is seeing her purple hair, and she's like, do you like it? And he says he does. And she's like, what do you think they're gonna say? Like, the people in Morocco, what do you think they're gonna say when they see it? You know, maybe they already were staring when I just had my blonde hair, so they're really gonna stare this time with my purple hair. You know, and seeing that, I was like, wow, that's the level of your conversation. And look, I get it. Not everybody is a deep intellectual and wanting to philosophize the things of life, and, you know, and have really deep conversations. And I'm not. No, I am. You know, so I get that not everybody is saying that, but I just, wow, that's like the depth of your conversation. Like, that's the depth of your relationship. Like, that's where it goes. Like, that's how y'all talk. I really do believe that, you know, especially with the language barrier. As much English as Azan speaks, you know, he can't go that deep, you know. And then I don't really think that Nicole has much to say. I really don't, except for those things like, you mean the world to me, and I never felt this way before, and I love you so much, and I can't wait for us to be a whole family, a real family. I can't wait for you to come here. And, you know, these things that just, I get maybe if you've really trained yourself to really, like, make your heart go putter, 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 you know, and skip a beat, to say and feel these things, when you say these things to feel this particular way, then then that's what you want. So it seems like the relationship is just based off of like, how could I get that butterfly feeling again? It's just, it doesn't seem substantive. They definitely don't seem like friends, like they truly know each other. And I know this is like kind of silly to even assume anything else. I need to double check it. Like, we hear his name two ways, Azan and Azan. I feel like it's Azan, but that's just me. So I don't know. I'd probably have to go back to their initial 90-day appearance and see how he introduces himself. But anyway, Azan, Nicole says to Azan, says to him like, I'm still, I guess, not happy that we didn't get to go to Grenada together, but my family keeps asking about your family emergency and what it was, but I keep telling them that, it's not, it's not our business, and if he wanted to share, or he didn't really want to get into it again, or something, and he never revealed it. And I guess we're not clear on whether or not Nicole herself knows what the actual emergency was. Forget your family, Nicole. We all want to know. America wants to know. What was the emergency, Azan? What was the emergency? Like, no, for real. What was that emergency? What was it? Oh, by the way, I had a thought, because I'm rewatching again past seasons, 90 Day and then Happily Ever After last season. That was the season where Nicole was supposed to get married in Morocco initially, and because she didn't have the original copy of the police report, then it was, she was not able to then go to the next step to be able to get married in Morocco. I realized they claimed that Azan's family, shelled out $6,000 for the wedding at that point, and everything had to be canceled. Even though I'm just like, why couldn't it just had postponed and held, whatever. Now, I get how things can just work with, like, maybe no refund and all that stuff. But they said, remember, Azan translated and said it was about $6,000, American dollars. So remember, we were wondering, where was that $6,000 that Nicole had put towards the wedding that just whoosh, just disappeared out of nowhere? I'm thinking, well, first of all, I'm actually not fully believing that I don't know. I actually kind of feel like they didn't really put out 6,000, meaning they took it out of their pocket, put it down, and then did not get that thing back. I don't know. That's just my guess. But if there was that, or maybe they claimed it, maybe Nicole then gave that 6,000 to them. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Anyway, so then Nicole says to Azan, so are you ready to get married this time? And he says, I think so. To that response, Nicole then gushes like, oh my gosh, like, it's really gonna happen this time. Like, oh my gosh, like, fourth time's the charm. And then in her interview, she's like, I think it's really gonna happen this time. That makes you gush, like, it just so little. Breadcrumbs. It's really sad. Moving on, let's go to Ashley and Jay. Oh, goodness. I guess I'll start with saying I do think it's staged. Again, as I said before, if anybody knows in the comments, because I don't know if I really even have the energy to Google them and be like, where's Jay now? Just let me know. I mean, is Jay still in America? Because according to Ashley, if we follow everything that she has said and done, then Jay should be out of the country. He should be back in Port Maria, Jamaica. Okay? He should be back in the JA. In time for, Independence Day in a couple weeks, right, Jay? Okay. So what happens? So Ashley is still reeling from finding out that Jay cheated on her at the barbershop in the bathroom with some unknown girl who, for whatever reason, divulged everything. Oh, we did everything and everything. Who would do that, please? And as much as they disguised her voice, I don't buy it. Anyway, so Jay comes back to the house and, so they go back and forth with it. She basically curses him out, tells him, you thought that you were going to use me for a green card. I'm the wrong one. Really? So then you didn't get got, right? No. But for real, I actually don't believe he was trying to trick you. I do not believe he was trying to use you for a green card. I genuinely don't. I really don't believe that. I believe that Jay was a 20-year-old, immature, young adult, young man who was just a teenager, who really doesn't understand and know about commitment. Whatever words came out of his mouth at your Vegas wedding that sounded like commitment, there was nothing I mean, you can say things and then not mean them, or you can say things and really not understand the depth of what they mean and what they will actually require you to do. So I do not believe he took her for a green card. I really don't. I think that Jay is just, that's who he is now, because he doesn't know better and he's not trying, and or they're just scamming to be able to be on TV and have a good story. So then he leaves. So then she kind of scuffles with him, and then she's like, "Get out of my house!" So then he leaves, does one of those, and then leaves. And it's cold. So good for you. And, so he's outside, and for some reason, she then decides to call the police. Oh, what do you mean? What do I mean for some reason? I mean, she's the white woman. I mean, what? Come on. In America. And so she calls the police, says, I just had a falling out with my husband, and he, is the altercation still going on? Well, he's outside right now. And suddenly the police is like, oh, we'll send somebody right away. And she's like, well, and he's illegal now. So he's illegal. So yeah. So just like that, boom, the cops come. The cops are on their way. I am honestly, my question to law enforcement, I understand wanting to treat everything like an emergency, meaning you don't want to be like, oh, this is probably not an emergency, whatever. But once you get there and you realize, wait a minute, this actually should not have been a 911 call. Like, I don't understand how these people cannot be charged with using up the line, that should have been a non-emergency number. He was not even in the house. He was doing nothing threatening, so I really do not understand why that was okay. But I do, because she's a white woman in America, particularly Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, so rural PA. Jay, suddenly he's just like, oh my goodness, why would you call the police on me? Oh, why, Jay? Because she's white, okay? And in America, boo, that's what they do. You married a white woman, okay? That's why. I don't even know why you're asking the question. Oh, by the way, I don't feel sad for anybody, but I don't feel bad for you, Jay. I really don't. No, I don't. Okay. Ashley's best friend, later on, when she's talking to Jay, somehow he gets back in the house. I can't even remember how that happened. He's like, I don't know why I should call the police, and the friend is like, it was for the best. And he's like, best for her. And then at one point when he was outside, whining, he's like, if she would just for 1 minute put herself in my shoes. Excuse me, Jay? Again, sir, you do not have, a dog in this fight. Meaning, there is nothing, if this was in any way real, you have nothing to say, sir. Zip your lip. Honestly, you need to go back to Jamaica. Seriously, you do need to go back to Jamaica, or let your mom, who I think you said is here in America, let her file for you, and then you live your life as a single young man that just wants to play and have fun and do whatever you want to do, whatever, that's fine. Yes. And then later on, Ashley, is crying, really crying, and saying, that she hopes, that she feels bad that she has to now tell her children what happened and they're not going to understand what cheating means. But then she also hopes that, she can be an example for them and still be an example for them. The whole thing was just okay, facepalm, what? Also, Ashley claims that the police agreed with her for calling them. That the fact that she called the police, that was the right move to do. I'm guessing, I don't know if that was production that made her do that, or if she felt compelled to do that because of the whole, backyard Becky, barbecue Becky, and all the what's the other names? Karen, water Karen, I don't know. She didn't want to. Please, Ashley, not you right there in the middle with them. Okay, they agreed that it was right that I called them. Really? No. Nobody said you couldn't call authorities to help you out, but why are you calling 911, boo? Why are you calling the emergency line? Like, I do not understand. Kids, do not try this at home. The emergency line is for emergencies. When you are in actual physical danger, when someone is truly physically hurt, bleeding, or something is broken, so no one is breathing and I'm not responsive, and please, okay? No. Oh, and at the end, Ashley gives us wisdom. You can't help who you love. She loved him, but she actually realizes that she still loves him. So, you can't help who you love. So my thing is, honestly, let's remind ourselves that at the beginning of their season, last season for 90 Day Fiancé, Ashley said that if Jesus came down and told her, that Jay was cheating on her, she wouldn't believe it, and she would just keep going and still be with him. It's fine. And so long as he was in Jamaica and doing whatever he wanted to do, that was fine. So you already had a warped understanding and belief of what commitment looks like, even with distance, whatever. Please. So that whole you can't help who you love. You can't help who you love. You will never be in. With that thinking and mindset, I don't think you will ever be in a healthy relationship, and then one that you would want your children or anybody else to model themselves after. Okay. Oh, now we gotta go to Pedro y Chantel. Let me just start off with this. Pedro, why do you keep leaving Chantel? I do not understand that. Why do you keep leaving her in the hotel? I don't get it. Anyway, and you look like, I feel like he looks like P. Diddy when he just stays with his mouth open, like he drops his mouth and just kind of stays looking, staring. All he needs is a pair of sunglasses, right? And then he'd be Diddy all the way. So what happens is, Pedro is meeting with all of his friends at a restaurant, and Chantel is, she comes with Obed to the restaurant, and, because Pedro asked her to come. Okay. So I mean, again, it's kind of set up because it's like Chantel again, if you really were trying to work this out with Pedro, then you know that you would not have been trying to have any kind of conversation with him and his friends, even though she did try to tell him at first, Pedro, I do not want to have this conversation in front of everybody. I don't want to have this conversation, around people. If we're really trying to fix things among us, we cannot do this in front of people. His friends start asking her questions how are you enjoying your time in the country? What's going on with you guys and blah, 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 and then she's kind of she's not trying to answer or say anything. And then Coraima pops out of nowhere. Sweetie, why are you talking? Shut up. Close your mouth. Cállate. Okay? She then goes, says, we know that there's problems in your relationship. I'm sorry, why are you talking? None of y'all should have anything to say about this marriage, because this is a marriage, okay? That's the first thing, because that is very disrespectful. And then, Coraima, you don't even know her. What are you, why are you talking? Be quiet, again. So I'm all right, fine. For the show. Then what happens is, they go back and forth. Nicole and Chantel go back and forth, whatever. And what popped it off was Chantel then goes to Nicole, in response to Nicole talking about her family attacked them and whatever, and she got bruises. Chantel goes, yeah, bruises that you deserved. And then Nicole was like, oh, really? So then she takes out her phone and is like, oh, let me show you who deserves what, right? So then she pulls out her phone, loads the video of the production staged, I believe, video of Pedro dancing with Coraima and, doing that little whatever. I mean, it was kind of whack though. I mean, it really wasn't even great dancing. Let's be honest. I really wish, that they really came out with the salsa. But then, Pedro did say that he really couldn't dance or whatever. So that's why he had to just do that little dirty dancing move, Anyway, but, So she pulled out the phone and then she goes, I mean, she really, like, to me, Chantel was wrong for saying you deserve those bruises. No, wrong. But Nicole was wrong-er for pulling out the phone and talking about, look. Oh, and look at him now, you know? And then she was like, this is what you deserve. This is what you deserve. Now, if this was a movie or like a telenovela, you know, it would be like, oh, like, you know, oh, she got you, like, ooh, that was right, you know. But this is apparently real life. That was so wrong, very disrespectful, whatever. And suddenly, now not in person, which is what Chantel has really wanted Pedro to do, is really stand up to his family, particularly his sister, in her face. But in his interview, he says, oh, you know, that was so disrespectful what my sister did. She's my wife. And, you know, he thinks that Chantel really didn't pop off because he didn't think that Chantel recognized that it was Coraima in the video and Coraima sitting right next to him. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I actually feel like Chantel knows sister girl is, first of all, I don't think Chantel is a fighter. Look at how she completely avoided getting hurt. Everybody fell over at one point and was punching or getting punched at the video. In the Pedro y River fight, all Chantel did was get in the middle and do a little bit of this. But, you know, everything was still perfect. And, you know, the only thing she did at the end was cry. But sister girl was all just dolled up in her crushed velvet dress, which I'm like, wait, is crushed velvet coming back? I hope not. But Chantel looks fire all the time, okay? And so even, let me just say, Coraima, please, you ain't got none on Chantel, please. Anyway, so then once she sees that, she's super embarrassed. So then she gets up and leaves and walks out of the restaurant. Obed follows her, and then suddenly the whole crowd follows, you know, them, and they go outside or whatever. And then, you know, eventually Chantel says to Pedro, like, and she calls him Pepe sometimes, we can't talk about this here. Let's go back to the hotel. Let's go home. I cannot talk to you about this here. I was so embarrassed by what your sister just showed me. You dancing with women. This is ridiculous. Please come and, like, I cannot talk about this right now. Pedro does the P. Diddy mouth drop. And stare. You know, and at one point I'm like, wait, Pedro. You're not going to stay there, are you? And then here Coraima pulling him away at one point. I'm like, sister girl, what you doing, boo? What are you doing? Please move away. Like, go away. Move. And in her little interview, because she got some screen time, she says that Chantel's response was appropriate for a wife, but she needs to realize that sometimes these things happen so that you know what you can lose, whatever. Again, completely disrespectful, please. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I need them to, like, get out of... It is enough that Chantel's family is completely involved in all of their family drama, in their marriage and stuff. Like, they need to just leave. They need to leave Dominican Republic and go home and, like, just be done with this. Pedro then walks away at one point. Chantel gets in the taxi van. And then finally, Pedro's friends, his guy friends, they start talking to him. All of a sudden giving him advice. I personally think because they believe that Chantel is hot. And that is his wife. And it's like, no. You ain't gonna leave that for either nothing or even Coraima. Like, no. Go to your woman. So they basically talk him and say, no. You gotta stand up. You gotta fight. You gotta be the man. You need to go back and get... your relationship back. So finally Pepe gets in the van and goes to be with her. Then the next day Chantel is in the gym and then Pedro meets up with her, and in the end they just decide, like, all right, we need to work this out between us. It just needs to be us. We need to talk about this. And they both, I guess, basically confess their love to each other. I love you. Like, they want to work on things. I guess she basically says, don't talk to your family, and, like, you should only be telling your family good things about me. Okay, yeah, but Chantel, take your own advice. You don't ever tell you tell your family all the bad things that Pedro does or that Nicole does and whatever, and that makes them act crazy. So you need to take your own advice, all right? Oh, moving on. Ros y Pau. Basically, Pau, you need to leave Juan alone, or at least for the, like, I mean, for real, for your relationship, leave Juan alone. I think Juan wants a I think he wants to become an actor of some sort, unless this is the only way to keep you guys on the show, because he's the only thing that brings conflict to your story. I think you're wrong for wanting such a close relationship with someone who is that disrespectful to your husband. And even though, like, yes, he wants to be the godfather of your son, but like, you know, he's really disrespectful to your husband and saying things like you could still get a divorce, and there are lots of women, or there are lots of women who are single mothers. What? Like, no, wrong, okay? And saying, you know, yeah, no, it's actually not funny. So I vote this couple off the island for the health of your relationship. Andre y Libby. So what's happening? So they basically have a little get together to welcome Andre's father, you know, to America and stuff, and to have him formally meet Libby's family. And Andre is so surprised that they're so nice and cordial and not hostile and not cold and stuff. And I'm like, Andre, you're the only one who is hostile and cold and loca to this family. Like, they act normal to you, especially Libby's dad. He's always been calm. Like, he is the poster child for calm, okay? So I love Andre's dad. Like, he is, I mean, does he not realize that, like, by speaking the truth, he makes his son look like a fool? Okay? And I'm surprised even that Andre was as willing to be telling his dad about the conflicts or whatever. And I'm like, so he must have thought that his dad was going to somehow take his side. I mean, his dad straight up called him out, talking about, I was so distressed and disappointed to hear and saddened to hear about the conflicts between the family and the fights, because he's like, I know that my son is a hothead and can be aggressive, too aggressive. He has too aggressive of a character at times. Speak the truth, Sir Andre's father, you know, I don't know what his last name is. So, I mean, he's speaking the truth. So, you know, Libby's dad straight up loves him. And they didn't show on camera that Andre translated exactly what his dad said, but he must have translated enough, if not everything, because Libby's dad was like, I cannot believe that this is Andre's father, because he's nothing like Andre. So they love each other, and then they shared an even, you know, awkward hug. You know, the awkward hug where y'all both go to the same sides, and now your faces are like right here, and like it's like, ooh, are you about to kiss or not? So, and then it somehow turns into an awkward side hug. Yeah, so they had one of those, but it was so sweet. And then they had lots of food. So dad is like, oh my gosh, this is so great, all this food and stuff. And then they had fireworks for them outside, which actually was a nice, sweet little, like, welcome, you know? Like, that actually was, like, they definitely went above and beyond. And sadly, Andre, proving his character, is all like, oh, I am as happy as he is to have this warm reception for his father. He then makes it about himself because he's a narcissist, and is like, but they didn't do any of this for me. So he's upset that he didn't get this kind of welcome. Excuse me? Here's the other thing I will say. Libby, you are wrong for saying that, yes, your family could have and should have done something special for Andre's arrival to America. And they were wrong for doing that. Really? So the free house that y'all got, all that money from daddy, the fact that daddy employs you, and then the extra money for bills and this and that, you know, like, so that wasn't enough. And the baby shower, the beautifully decorated yet poorly attended baby shower, that wasn't enough for y'all. Oh, really? Okay. So sorry for that. Y'all are canceled, you know? But I will say, though, Libby, she's such a cute, pregnant woman. Like, oh my gosh. Like, you look really adorable, Libby, I will say. All right, so the last couple to talk about, Colt and Larissa. This is really ridiculous. Like, I mean, especially because this is so real for her, in that this is like real life about her having a criminal record. Really, so we get some clarification about what happened with the fight between Colt and Larissa. Larissa says that Colt took her phone from her and then put it in his pocket, and you wouldn't give it back to her. So I guess when it was in his possession, that's when he shut off her data. or something. I'm assuming, but regardless, like, to then take the phone away. Excuse me, she's not your child and she's not a child. Like, what is that? I don't care if homegirl is not working, has never worked, and that you're paying all of these bills and paying for her phone or whatever. That is so wrong. Like, no, okay? And then she said that she was crying or whatever, and I guess maybe that's when she ran and then locked herself in the bathroom. How then? I mean, again, this is when I definitely do believe that Larissa said that she believes that Colt then must have said to the cops, yes, she has been charged with domestic battery before. Why are you telling the police that if you do not want your wife to be taken away? And why are you telling her that if she did not currently beat up on you or something, or made you feel unsafe in a way that, and then because you did not call the cops, like, that's what you kept reiterating. I don't know who called the cops. I didn't call the cops. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm sure that he informed the cops about her record and whatever. And so then the lawyer lets Larissa know that, well, now that this is a second charge, this is more for domestic battery, which is a violent crime. They're going to take it more seriously, which is, I guess, why they just decided to arrest her and then take her down to the station. I mean, I still don't get it though, because if Colt did not call the cops on her, and then if he did not make a formal complaint, unless that's what he did, and said, well, yeah, that's why, I felt unsafe. I can't. I can't. I mean, I also don't feel sorry for Larissa. I get it. I'm sorry. I would go back home. I did. Is the desire to live in America and get American citizenship worth all of what you're going through with Colt? I just can't. I can't see it. I really can't. And I know I'm speaking from an American-born citizen perspective, but I just can't see it. I would have to be like, deuces, especially if you want a chance in the future. You now have a criminal record. Like, I guess feeling tied and feeling lack of power and control with money and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would do, but in the end, I also will have to say that, Larissa, you then still chose to marry this man 3 days after, or just a few days after, he called the cops on you for the first time. That would have been strike number 1 and done. What else? Oh, so once the day of her arraignment, Debbie keeps bothering Larissa, trying to find out what happened. And Larissa's like, please leave me alone. Please close my door. I do not want to speak to you. So she's all upset. Debbie's all upset, making it about herself. Then at the end of the day, Cole comes home. He gets picked up, like he always does from Mama. And, he's saying that Larissa should have found out by this time, and whether or not she has been, whether or not her case was dismissed or whether she's charged or whatever. And he basically says that he tries to talk to her, goes into her room, whatever, and then she's like, please get out. Like, I don't want to talk to you. So then he goes on his phone, and somehow, because he has her case number, he finds out that way that I guess the charges were dropped and the case is dropped and it's not going to trial. That's what he made sense of what it was labeled as. But he says in his interview, I don't want Larissa to go to jail. I don't want to get her deported. But if she doesn't change her behavior, she needs to change her behavior. I don't know. And if she doesn't change her behavior, things are going to end badly. What? What? I don't even know. What does that even mean? Like, change what? I mean, what you say? I mean, like, he's like, oh, I guess you might just have a life of jail for you, wifey. And you just might have to go back to Brazil, wifey. I mean, like, I'm happy that they are no longer together, but, like, the fact that he was saying these things when they were still together and she was living in a house, ooh, Colt is sick. And then he went on to talk about he paid for this lawyer and, he wants to tell me what happened. Tell me what's wrong with you. Like, he's demanding that she needs to tell him and she needs to talk to him. Even if she knew at that point that her case was dismissed and it wasn't going to trial and charges were dropped and all that stuff, she should be jumping for joy and like, yay, Colty, who the one who's, you know, the cause of all of this. Everything's better. Like, you expect her to be like super happy with you? Like, really? Colt, sick. So it's totally, yes, that Norman Bates mother thing. So don't worry, Debbie and Colt, you guys have your beautiful, happy relationship, and you guys will live happily ever after together forever. The end, right? Anyway, so that's pretty much it, y'all. Woo! Gosh, see, look, it was still so much to talk about, so I was trying to make it short, but it was just not even possible, right? So let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, it's crazy town. It's crazy stuff. Let me know what you think. What do you think is staged? What do you think is real? With Jay and Ashley, with Colt and well, I guess not Colt and Alyssa, but Jay and Ashley with Chantel and Pedro. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. And like and subscribe, and also share this video with other, you know, 90 Day Obsessed fans, you know, so we can continue talking in the comments. And I really appreciate everybody who you know, watches, and then who likes the videos, and then particularly the ones who comment. Like, I love the comments. I love really kind of continuing the conversation. That's essentially why I do these videos, because like, I actually want to talk about it with people, you know. Anyway, guys, tune in next week for more craziness, right? All right.